Okay folks, so here we are once again with another contrast paint test. This time I'm testing Darkoath Flesh. Now I'm going to use the same as its flesh as in my last video, which was Gilmer Flesh, which I'll put a link up there for you in the corner. I'm going to use this Darkoath Flesh, which I'm told gives you a darker skin tone, but not too dark, but definitely darker. So the same primers in the same order, just off shot there, but it's grey sear here. This is why I've labelled them 1 to 5 as well. Grey sear, dark yellow by Vallejo, grey, light ghost grey, and white by Vallejo also. And so I'm literally going to pop this contrast paint onto each one, because these are thoroughly dry from being primed now. So I'm going to see what this one looks like, and then you in turn can see what this looks like as well. Now on the last video I found that 1 and 5, because I've labelled the other ones as well, but the grey sear and the white were my favourites. I mean, the grey was alright as well, the grey's okay, but I didn't go much on the dark yellow, but it might be different this time if this is a darker one. And I notice there's an odour about them, which is more akin to an oil paint. Unlike the gloss shades, more akin to that. Anyway, that's just an observation. Right, so I'm going to start with this one, and I'll give you the close-ups after they're dry. So I'm just going to pop this on in the same manner that I did the last one. And once again, I'm using just a Citadel shade brush for this. Don't want it pooling too much. Alright, so that's there. So that's the first one. Now I'm going in for the yellow. Now, you know, it'd be interesting to see these when they're dry, because yesterday once I was putting it on, I was like, I don't know if I like the look of this. But by the time it was dry, it was actually really good, looking really nice. This is just, you know, a little bit of experimentation to see what looks good, what does not. Thinking, do I want any more? No, I'm gonna leave it, Pete. Leave it. It's tempting to want to go back in and sort of, like, you know, really retouch things up. Once again, I'm painting the whole thing, like the hair and everything, just so I can see how the paint reacts. So I'm on the grey now. And it behaves very much like a wash, goes into all the recesses. And you can see there, goes into all the recesses, and then it seems to change. I don't know, it seems to change how it looks as it dries. Right, I'm on the ghost grey one now, so I'm literally running out of heads in my head box. Well, I'm not, but ones that have skin, you know, because I've got a lot of helmeted heads for Space Marines, so that's light ghost grey, and we'll go with the white last. This one just came out rather well last time, so I'm hoping it will this time as well. Now I'm probably going to finish off these along with the other heads as well, like doing all the metal bits in the hair and things, just to see how they look. And yeah, then you can decide fully for yourself, so that there'll be follow-ups to these. Right, so these, he's a little bit too much in his eyes there. I need to drag that out. Right. I'm not messing around anymore. Putting that back. And all that remains to do is to wait. I'm going to give it at least a quarter of an hour and then we'll come back. Okay, see you in the next clip. Okay, so it's been actually 17 minutes since I put the paint on, and I will now have a look at the results and then I'll compare them with the Guilliman Flesh, which I did in the last video. So we'll zoom in a bit, shall we? First up is the Darkoath Flesh on the Grey Sear Primer, and I rather like that. I'll be honest, and I'll show you in the comparison with the Guilliman Flesh one. There's not much difference, but we'll come to that. So that's the Vallejo Yellow, and for some reason, and I had this problem in the last video, it's not fully dry. It's all pooled horribly. It's you know, not going to work on that one either. It might work for certain skin types, but you know, not human ones anyway. Anyway, moving on to the grey. Again, we have some pooling issues here, but you know, you can see on the top of the forehead and that the main colours. Bear in mind, like the moustaches and hair and all the rest of it, any metal bits, they're not coloured in. Right, so going on to the light ghost grey. Alright, again, pooling issues there. I was a little bit, you know, hasty, I guess. And my favourite of the pack, I think, white. Darkoath Flesh over white, I think looks really, really nice, and I think would work best on like a bold head type of head, like you see before you, really. And so that's that. So let's compare them side by side from the ones the other. Now, one G stands for Guilliman Flesh and D stands for Darkoath Flesh. There you go. And you can see Guilliman Flesh seems a little bit pinker, I suppose. A little bit pinker, more like Cadian and the Ungor Flesh than the other one, but it's difficult to say without the hair being coloured in. You know, I grant that, but there. So you know, hopefully you'll be able to see. I see no difference in these two. I'll be perfectly honest. If I can just find a way of holding these side by side. There. In how they look, I suppose the Darkoath Flesh is slightly darker. Probably difficult to see on camera, but it is true. Oops, I put those the wrong way around. Remember, the D is the Darkoath Flesh and the G is the Guilliman Flesh. Yeah, so the one on the right is the Guilliman and the one on the left is the Darkoath. You know, if you see any that you might want to use for your own, then you know, you can see how they look over the respective primers here and the comparisons. Now, the light ghost grey, Darkoath on the left, Guilliman on the right. Now, I'm sorry about the pooling on the Darkoath one. And last but not least, the white. You may remember the one with the Guilliman had the it's like the Cadian shock trooper head, so he had a helmet. So a little difficult to see there, but you can see on the top how the colour compares. I actually find this one on white. I find the Darkoath to be brighter than the Guilliman Flesh. You know, I think for me, if I was painting flesh on white, I'd go for Darkoath Flesh. If I was painting it on grey sea, I'd probably go for the Guilliman. See, my two favourite ones are these. I'll be honest with you. These are my two favourite. So the one on the left is Guilliman Flesh Tone over Gracia, and the one on the right is Darkoath Flesh over White Primer. See that? Those are my two favourites. But you know, up to you. You decide. I'm probably, I'll just zoom out a bit there. I'm probably going to fill in the other details so we can get a final look at the detail and how they should look. I'll do my best. Yeah, I'll probably will get around to doing them all, and yeah, in another video I will show you that. So look out for other videos. There may be other contrast paint videos, tests, or there will be. I'm hoping to do power armor next, yellow and black. And remember, all brushes lead to war. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.